Hello everyone, welcome back to another fantastic, well, no, not really fantastic. I was supposed to call you younglings, but I just accidentally called you guys instead. So, hello younglings, welcome back to another video. Today, we are going to be talking about the top 10 creepiest places in all of World of Warcraft. If you didn't know, World of Warcraft is a popular game that started in 2004 and has had a couple of good expansions since then, which are contain new zones and new worlds and new that kind of stuff. But you're probably not watching this video if you haven't heard of World of Warcraft, so let's continue. Okay, so the 10th most creepy zone in World of Warcraft is the Maelstrom. So it's pretty weak so far, but still, I think the Maelstrom is kind of spooky, like how it's just this big, deep chasm just underneath the sea, underneath the Great Sea. It's just, I don't know, anything sea-based is kind of creepy to me, and we'll be talking about that again in another part of this video. Yeah, I'm probably going to show some gameplay of me going around the deep hole place. So, yeah. Number 9 is the Western Plaguelands. The Western Plaguelands is basically pretty spooky. It's full of undead, and the weirdest place I think is this place called Scholarmance, and it's like a school, but it's filled with zombies. But it's not really that spooky. But I just thought it was worth putting on this list because it's not the spookiest place, but still, it's worth it. It's a little bit more spooky than the Maelstrom. There's a bunch of crypts there as well, so it's a bit more creepy than the Maelstrom by quite a little bit, but it still isn't as creepy as the Hinterlands, which is number 8. So when I was a bit younger, a little story time for you guys. When I was a bit younger, I used to play a lot of World of Warcraft, despite it being rated a 12. So when I was 4, and World of Warcraft original kind of was around. Well, I started playing around it doesn't matter. But when I was little, there was this place called Arathi Highlands, and it's basically highlands and stuff. And then part of the quest chain with quests and stuff, it sent me over to the Hinterlands, which is over a massive mountain range. So anyway, that was it. That's what happened. And then it was filled with demonic trolls, and I thought it was really creepy because it was really secretive. This is just personal preference, because this is just stuff that really traumatized, well, not traumatized, but kind of rubbed me the wrong way as a child. So pretty spooky stuff, such as the Blasted Lands. So the Blasted Lands were originally this big forest, but it's now this hellish landscape, and it's at the southeast of the Eastern Kingdoms, and it contains the portal where you go to the Outland through. So it's pretty spoopy. It's a pretty spoopy place. And in the bottom left-hand corner, or the southwest-hand corner of it, there's a little weird forest place. The next place, it's next to this other place called Stranglethorn, which is number 5, I think. So we're rocketing through this list. Stranglethorn is like this big jungle place. I don't know why. It doesn't really scare me now, but it's kind of like this massive, really dense jungle, and it's really like bright and vibrant, and there's tons of like dangerous, really powerful enemies there. So that kind of thing really creeped me out as a child. But I'm not sure why I put it this high on the list, but it's not quite as scary as Duskwood, which is a really low level place. So if you play as a human and you go a bit forward and you go through the game a little bit, and then you'll make it to Duskwood sometime, and it's like night all the time in Duskwood. So it's pretty scary, basically. But it's like filled with like zombies and ghouls and graveyards and werewolves and stuff like that. And there's also a massive bit in the middle that's like off limits, or it was in WoW Classic, but now it's off limits. So yeah. It's like this thing that's like in the center of Duskwood, and it's like in the middle. There's like nothing. And in the middle you can get to it now, but in WoW Classic you couldn't. Anyway, so even creepier at number 6, we have the Swamp of Sorrows. By looking at my gameplay, that's probably going to be here. Swamp of Sorrows does not look very promising. According to the World of Warcraft lore, that I do not know much about, but I know that there is lore, and there is lots of it. Anyway, so the guy, what happens is the guy... what am I talking about? So there are a bunch of trolls here who are in this who work in this temple, in this forest. So then the green dragons, these dragon people, they didn't like them guys being in their land. So they kicked him out. Or they didn't kick him out. They flooded the land to turn it into a swamp, to like drown all the cultists, but they still live there and do their stuff, but except now it's just a swamp, and that makes it even more creepy. Anyway, now there's zombies and stuff. I don't know, and there's also like swamp monsters and that kind of stuff. So next we have Vashir. So when I was little, so one of the expansions was called The Cataclysm, which was released in 2010 when I was playing World of Warcraft. But around that time, there's this underwater zone, and it really just shiver me timbers. It's pretty spooky. So it's this place full of like sea monsters and stuff, and it's underwater, and you get shipwrecked there, and it's like this big civilization like Atlantis, but in World of Warcraft, but with Cataclysm, and it's all been flooded over like millennia ago. So that's what Vashir is. But the deep sea element makes it really spooky. And there are these things called whale sharks, which I think are a real thing. I'm probably going to Google that after, but they're in World of Warcraft, and they are really I used to find them back in 2010. I used to find them really, really scary. So and they were massive. They're about 40 times. No, that's generous. About 80 times the player character's bigness, and it was really spooky. It's really scary. But so this is the last water themed one. Wait, yep, it is. But we now go on to the really spooky ones. Encourage is a big raid zone from World of Warcraft Classic. It's at the south of Silphus. I'm probably going to show a little bit of map of that zone there. Oh god, pardon me. I've just had dinner and it's really making me burp. So anyway, there's this massive like old one kind of thing they're called old gods, and they're like in like the corners of the world in like desolate places, and so yeah, it's pretty spooky stuff, but it's not as spooky as number 1, which is Deadwind Pass, which is the only. It's Deadwind Pass is like this place where that you use. It's like a little thing between. It's a zone between the swamp and what's it called? Swamp of Sorrows and Swamp of Sorrows and what was it called? Duskwood. So it's between there, and it's filled with all these this dead plantation and stuff, and there's ogres who live there as well. Pardon me. It used to be really spooky in classic World of Warcraft in 2004, but then when it had more involvement with the storyline of World of Warcraft, so like in 2007, when in the Burning Crusade, when it was changed, or like there was a new dungeon to do with Karazhan, the tower in the middle, and then there was another update in Legion from 2017, which doesn't feel like quite so long ago, but it was. That was released in 2017, and so like when it had more involvement with the plot, it started to become less and less spooky, but it's still quite spooky. Like it has tons of secrets to go into, but like well, it is, in my opinion, the spookiest place in all of World of Warcraft still. But guys, I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed editing it. I'll be back with another video unless I die. But I probably will be back with another video anytime after right now. Alright, peace out.